Nicks and bruises, we are back. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. It's breaking news. I'm a little late. Just came home from work. Got the text from Shuttle. He let me know what was going on. I couldn't believe it. We traded RJ. We traded IQ for OG. Like, I'm shocked for a bunch of different reasons. Let me just start with that. I mean, I thought the lawsuit was gonna nix all types of trade and talks and negotiations with the Raptors. Obviously, I mean, unless maybe the lawsuit is dropped all of a sudden, we don't know. But what I mean, I didn't think a trade would happen with Toronto. Number one, um, I did expect if it did, RJ would be the guy, and I'm okay with that. But the inclusion of IQ, that's got me a little distraught. You know what I mean? So I got Shuttle here. He's gonna try to talk me off the ledge. I guess, because I'm not too sure how I feel about it. I gotta let it marinate a little bit. But yeah, Shuttle, what up? Salute. Appreciate you jumping on. You broke the news to
All,
me.
all aboard with the news. You heard?
Let me know. What was your thoughts, man? When you heard it, before you even text me, what was you thinking? I know how you felt about RJ. You know what I mean? You was a little down on him for the most part. So I'm sure the the trade didn't bother you as much as it did me. And again, I'm not mad with RJ. I'm mad with IQ. But what was your
Well,
thoughts, man?
salute to the chat, all aboard. You know how we do it. Um, I just want to say that I've been very disappointed in RJ for quite some time. Uh, I said it on multiple occasions this summer and towards right before the season started. RJ absolutely needed to get off to a fast start to have any type of saving grace with me and also for the team to do well this year. He got off to a great start. So my foot was off the throttle a little bit from his neck. You understand? So I was on the throttle a little bit, like pressing him, but he's resorted back to the RJ that he has been most of his time here. You know what I mean? And you know, of course, the fan favorite is Quickly. Quickly is the fan favorite. Like, I think people love Brunson's play, but I just think Quickly is the fan favorite. So not only is he the fan favorite, but he's also, provided what's needed with instant offense, and he's actually played pretty good defense. And he has grown on me from year one to where he's at currently, like tremendously. I looked at him as very erratic and not a great decision maker. And he's somebody that, like, if RJ would have improved the way Quickly has improved, man, we wouldn't be
Facts.
talking about RJ being traded and we wouldn't even be here. But, you know, nothing but kudos to Quickly because he's a fan favorite because he's tough, he's got personality, and he's made a steady improvement over the past 3 seasons. So, um, you know, he grew on me, and I definitely was not thrilled at the idea that he had to go. But I had long conceded
Hmm.
that once Dante DiVincenzo was signed in the offseason, that Quickly's days here were done. And I've recently said in the past couple of weeks, you needed to start Quickly and see if you could do Quickly and Brunson in the starting lineup together. Because if you did that, then you could justify
Hmm.
potentially paying Quickly the money that he is going to command in his restricted free agency. And if you weren't going to do that and you were going to keep him on the bench, the offer that he's going to get in restricted free agency would be too high to justify matching it without trading him, even in a sign and trade in the offseason. So, as far as I was concerned, Quickly was gone. I've long conceded that, regardless of how much he's grown on me and its value to the team. Unlike others who were performing in a way that I wanted them to leave.
See, you actually answered the question before I even asked it. Shout out to Knicks and Nice. He said, "Your boy is out of here." Damn, yeah, yo. This one, this is why I didn't buy the Quickley jersey, because I knew it was a unsafe bet. You know what I mean? But my question was exactly that. Like, do you think his inclusion in the trade was a sign that they weren't gonna re-sign him, and he wasn't in the plans? I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking of it where it was just a non-negotiable for Toronto. You know what I mean? Like, because my preference would have been including Grimes. Part of my cat, she wilding right now. Um, I would have preferred Grimes. I think Toronto probably was put their foot down and said,
But
"Nah,
see, I
it
had
gotta be
called it
quick."
the before the we're gonna call it Raptors Gate. Before Raptors Gate occurred, not only did I think, hey, ship Mr. Canada to Toronto, I also thought that with Fred Van Vliet leaving, that Toronto needed a point guard. So while I wasn't thrilled by the idea of trading him to a division rival, it made more sense that, like, to me, I looked at the Phoenix Suns' need of a point guard, and I looked at the Raptors' need of a point guard as two strong destination points that made the most sense for Quickley. And I was kind of hoping it'd be a sign and trade with Phoenix in the offseason. And and you got a chance to maximize Quickley, this year. But it makes no sense for them to take Grimes. He's not valuable to them. And the fact that you were able
And
to hold on, and the fact that you were able to hold on to every first round pick. So now my
you got
prediction
another move on the table.
easily, though, you still got Fournier's tradable contract. You can still now trade Grimes. I mean, even if it doesn't happen before, even if the big deal doesn't happen this trade deadline, in the offseason, you're still in position to, do a deal with Mitch and get Embiid, or do a deal with Mitch and get Towns, and 3-4 first round picks for them guys, and whatever it takes. You know what I mean? And now you're upgrading another weak position on the team. I feel like this is an upgrade to the starting lineup. And at this point, I'd rather take OG at 35 minutes a game and Deuce at 10 minutes a game than taking RJ at 30 minutes a game and taking IQ for the minutes he's been getting. I just feel like that for the collective of the entire team, it's a better move.
Yeah. I mean, and then you just answered another question I was gonna ask. Like, with IQ being gone, who's running the point in the second unit? You saying Deuce is gonna step up?
I,
I've
I
heard
think I think
talks of
Dante will get a
Malachi.
couple of minutes. Thoughts of who?
Malachi or whoever else wasn't there a point guard included in this trade? Flynn, what, Malachi Flynn?
Oh, I don't know that guy. I
I
don't know
mean,
if that guy's gonna come in and get minutes from Deuce immediately. Not
yeah.
immediately.
I mean, I wouldn't think so either. And he's had a shaky career. I did like him coming out of college. I'll admit that, but he's never really panned out to who I thought he would be, or could be, I should say.
Yeah, I think Deuce will. I think Dante rather will get some minutes at point guard, and I think Brunson probably play a couple more minutes. But yeah, I mean, I see Deuce, getting a shot, man. Like, Deuce has not been really. I mean, he hasn't been amazing, but he's been good enough that you can say, all right, Deuce, we need you to give us 10 minutes a game. Step up. I'm ready to give Deuce a shot. I don't think he's going to be Quickly, but he doesn't have to be.
How about who else was in that trade? Precious Achua, New York native too, right? I believe.
I was looking at him. I was looking at him as a potential backup for the front line. So I didn't even catch that he was included in the deal initially. So I'm looking it up now, and yeah, and I see you're right. So I mean, that's definitely a big that was needed. So that's amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna help. So I mean, how would you grade it overall? I mean, I know. How would you grade the trade and just your like were you happy with it, ecstatic with it, okay with it, unhappy with it like I was? You know what I mean? And again, I'm prefacing that with the inclusion of IQ. I'm a Knicks fan first, so you know what I mean. I'm always gonna root for the team, and now I just gotta root. I don't like rooting for players on other teams, but I'm definitely gonna be rooting for IQ because like I said, he's my favorite Nick. I gotta find a new favorite Nick, man. Right now, I guess it gotta be Brunson, just because you know what I mean. He, I know he was the safest bet buying when I was buying in Jersey. Um, but yeah,
Wow.
what was your
They already,
what,
hold on a second. ESPN already got the players updated on the depth charts.
mm,
Wow.
what's it
Wow.
looking at?
That's
What's
all.
it looking like? Break it down.
They got Quickly in the starting lineup with Scotty Barnes.
Oh, you talk about I thought you was talking about for us.
Well, well,
Okay,
here's
go
the
ahead.
thing. I was going to Toronto's page because I wanted to look at
Hmm.
Precious stats. So I went to Toronto, and when I go to Toronto, I'm like, oh wow, Quickly's already in the starting lineup. So they've got Quickly, Barnes, RJ, Siakam, and Jacob. Well,
Yeah,
and I'm just I just wanted to be clear. It's a done deal. We ain't talking about hyperbole right now. It's a done deal. So now players may not play today. They might have to still pass the physicals and all that. But um, yeah, let's pull up the depth chart for the Knicks
wait,
and
hold up.
let's see
I
where
ain't
we
go
have
front.
Precious.
That's another reason why I was tight about the trade because I'm like, yo, they ain't even gonna play today. So now we undermanned coming into today's game. We need this game, bro. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I was tight. I'm like,
Yeah,
we can't
well,
afford,
we'll
you
be
know what I
ready
mean,
for the
to
next game. So
make the losing
So
streak.
they got obviously they got OG slotted in as the back as the starting small forward, and Precious Achua is slotted in as the backup center right now. He's listed at 6'8", 243, 24 years old, out of Memphis, first round pick, drafted number 20 by Miami. So
Hmm.
say what you want, good or bad. Nobody's perfect, but if Miami scouted him enough to draft him in the first round, I'm at least intrigued in a positive way, uh, for that. He has so far this season, he's averaging 7.7 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, 46% from the field, 57 from the foul line, and 17 minutes a game. Exactly what's needed from him. So, and he's shot 47% for his career from the field. He actually shoots 31% from three and is a career 60% free throw shooter, career 7.8 a game, and 5 rebounds a game. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we need. 18, 19 minutes, 7 points, 5, 6 boards, shoot close to 50%. Make some hustle plays, we'll be all right.
And what's he 6'10"?
No, actually, I was just about to say that, but he's a little undersized according to
Understand?
this. He says he's 6'8".
Oh man, I
So
think the
I'm reading
Knicks
that correctly.
like
Yeah,
uh,
6'8".
hold on. And shout out Jeremy. I don't want to mispronounce your last name. So he says OG has been horrible this season, major regression. Um,
How could you have a
I have
major regression to
but
RJ?
well and that's the thing that I was gonna say and you doing the stats, so maybe you want to bring them up or whatever, but I think RJ has been a more productive scorer throughout his career. You know what I mean? Now, I know we're getting a better shooting percentage from three. I know we're getting a better defensive player for sure. Um, but that's one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about and break down. What do you think the
Okay.
differences are going to be between? What do you think the benefits are from bringing OG in here, and then is there anything we're going to be losing with this switch in your opinion? And then I'll give mine as well.
Okay.
Let me shout
Well,
out Nixon Nice with the super chat. Appreciate it. He said Leon panic, shaking my head. You know what? Let's address this first. Do you think this was a panic move, or do you think? And again, appreciate
I've
the super
I've
chat, my
been
guy.
listen, I think I outlined it at the beginning. RJ's been horrible. He needs to go. Quickly outperforming a contract, then you're likely going to be willing to pay him. And that's really it. It's not, to me, I don't see any panic. I don't see any panic at all. In fact, there's been more outcry that the front office doesn't pull the trigger and doesn't do anything. So now when they actually do something, you're gonna say that they panicked? Listen, are you not watching what I'm watching? This guy's in year 5. He can't make a layup consistently. Year 5, he doesn't have a mid-range pull-up jumper yet still. Like, if you don't need anything else in your game, RJ, you need a mid-range pull-up jumper. You get to the hoop, you miss, or you get charges. Like a mid-range jumper. Like, these are the things that I learned when I was like 12, 13 years old. I don't see it as a panic move at all. I see it as strategic. You were able to keep all the first round picks. You were able to keep all the first round picks. I want to repeat that one third time. You were able to keep all the first round picks. Basically, you got a better version of RJ. You got RJ. To me, this guy's better than RJ, and you save the money that you were not wanting to pay for a backup player. You guys really wanted to pay Quickley 25 to 30 million on a 4-year deal. That's what it would have took. That's what it would have took. All these lowball deals the Knicks been getting on their players. Quickley wants to be a starter. So for him to stay and be a backup, you was damn sure going to need to overpay grossly. Facts or no facts?
You're right. You're right. I know. I understand the circumstances and the nuances about it. That's why I ain't really all the way on the ledge. You know what I mean? Again, it just hurts to see Quickly go. But you definitely right. He's gonna get a bag. You know what I mean? And if the reports that the Knicks offered 18, I think he's gonna get more than that, a lot more than that. So maybe the price is out of the range of where they were
Instead of
willing to go.
instead of panic, it was strategic and it was
Mhm.
forward thinking that you lost him for nothing. Which can you imagine? Can
Listen,
you imagine? Can you
I bet
imagine quickly gets an offer this off season, and you're like, that offer's crazy. That offer's crazy. Yo, they gotta match that though. Yeah, but he gonna be a backup. So now you got all that money spent on the backup player. Again, that's why I said, if anything, I would have, instead of the Dante move, I would have tried Quickly to see if it could work.
I
Then you
agree.
could have, justified. And I said this weeks ago. I
You
said
did.
this
You
weeks
did.
ago.
You definitely did.
Do that so that you can pay him confidently and comfortably. I mean, if I was a GM, I wouldn't be listening to no fans either. You know what I mean? I wouldn't listen to no fans
Yeah,
either.
and I think the timeline was the timeline with Spider and Brunson was like they had to make the Brunson move before the Spider move was even a question. So
Right.
they would have had to just not make the Brunson move, and then they probably would have made the move for Spider at the time. But once they made the Brunson, I think it changed circumstances. I mean, maybe it didn't. Honestly, when you talk about the first offer the Knicks offered for Donovan Mitchell, which to me was crazy, but that's a whole nother story. I got a prediction for you though. Um, OG does not hit free agency. He opts in and gets extended. So you know what I mean, like the same thing Josh Hart did. I think OG is going to do the same exact thing. Um, especially considering I know Leon Rose is no longer agent, but I think the CAA connection and communication is still intact. So I see him opting into the contract because he has a player option right this year, which everybody assumed he
Yeah.
was gonna. Yeah, so I think he opts into the player option and extends the same way Josh Hart did.
Yeah. I mean, all
And
things considered, that
I
number's
mean,
not
we
very.
talk about
Yeah. All things considered, though, that number's not very high.
what is it, 17 something?
Its player option is
9.
19.9.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going on a limb. Everybody said I was crazy when I said the Josh Hart wasn't gonna opt out. He was gonna opt in and get extended. I think the same thing happens. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of the whole strategic move because that helps you in making the next move. But yeah,
Yeah, you could literally flip OG into a sign and trade for something bigger.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think he fits the team for sure.
I
Fits the
think
team
he
for
fits
sure.
the team for sure as well. I expect him to flourish on this team, and I expect him to be re-signed. I'm hoping that he gets re-signed. And back to your prior question, if we can jump back to that, the plus and the minus of the two, or the what's the add? Um, OG's a better ball handler. He's better in the half court offense, giving the ball to, getting his own shot and setting up for other players. He's a better field goal percentage shooter. He's a better 3-point shooter. He's already been an All NBA defender. He's led the league in steals. I don't have enough fingers to count all the pluses.
Well, my thing was I would say better defender for sure. I would give him better shooter. Um, hmm. I thought that I thought I had another one. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now, but it was like three things that I would definitely give him the plus in and defense for sure. Um, shooter for sure. You know, my only issue with OG is, and I don't know if this will, maybe this works better in on this team, but I felt like he's not aggressive. You know what I mean? Like he kind of just one of those guys that just fits in, but like he doesn't. I don't know if we can go to him in a clutch situation. Not saying that's what RJ was, but RJ's done that. You know what I mean? At times. You know what I mean? We've seen him be aggressive, go on you know what I mean, a 6-0 run by itself or whatever the case, just take over a quarter. You know what I mean, if you will. Um I don't know if I've ever seen that from OG. I haven't watched the Raptors too much, You know what I mean? Like catch a game here and there. If they and it's probably because I wasn't watching them, but I was watching the opponent, whether it's the Knicks or just another team that I like. But I don't think he's a aggressive guy. What do you think of that? As far as like,
Well,
what do you think the negatives are in this move? Let's say that,
I will say it's two things. I,
if
I
any.
think that I think that the thing with it's ironic that you say that about the aggressiveness, right? Because RJ, in my humble opinion, wants to be the man so bad, he's unnecessarily aggressive. He's over aggressive. He's aggressive and not effective with his aggressiveness. You know what I mean? And like, all right, cool. It's like what do you call self check? When the guy's out there, he's just dribbling, just dribbling, just dribbling, just dribbling. He's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I look at RJ's aggressiveness. Like, yeah, it's come through sometimes, but if you throw spaghetti on the wall, some of it's bound to stick. So I kind of like what we get now from OG. Like I feel like the one of the biggest weaknesses is the defense on this team,
Hmm.
and to actually have a wing defender that can be assigned to your best two or your best three, can switch to your four because he's strong enough. You understand what I'm saying? Like I just feel like he's going to help the overall defensive capabilities. It's like, yo, I just know Tibbs is going to be doing Birdman hand rub right now in excitement for how he's going to be able to use him and have better, smarter play. Like
Yeah.
Randle's already not that smart out there. So you combine Randle's lack of IQ on the court and RJ's over aggressive lack of IQ on the court, it's not enough. So actually, whereas kind of Grimes was the guy that was the passive guy, if you will, I don't think OG is Grimes like passive. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But you have a point. He's not like, all right, I'm gonna take over and win the game in the fourth. But we got two guys, Brunson being the main one, and we got Randle as the B to that. Okay, and Dante's not really scared of the big moments either. So I feel like we have enough players that we can depend on and rely on in clutch situations that we don't need him to come here and be that. And just when you sleep on him, just when you're not expecting him, he'll be able to deliver versus overdoing it, which is what I feel like RJ just did too much of.
It's a good point. I mean, I get it though. Like even with me saying he's not aggressive, he may just be the perfect fit. Another positive I feel like with this, not only I mean, you said Deuce, you think Deuce will get the increased um second unit minutes, but it also helps Grimes to not have to guard up now. You know what I mean? Now he could guard the dangerous point guard. You know what I mean? As opposed to having to guard the good three, the good four. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Because now you got two guys that could. I mean, theoretically, we had that in IQ as well. You know what I mean? But IQ couldn't guard up, so it still left Grimes in that position to guard up. Now we got a 6'8" guy who can guard up or down. We still got Grimes who could guard up or down. You know what I mean? As far as the position. So that's definitely gonna help us overall defensively for sure. Let me throw Parrish up in the chat. Appreciate the super chat. He says be careful assuming a guy can play as well in New York, I'm assuming. Um, I'm assuming he's saying like people built for New York and not be careful assuming a guy
Yeah,
can play in New York. Um,
well, listen, you got a fair point. It's a
yeah,
fair point. Many people have come to New York and crumbled.
Dang, yeah, that's just like settling in. You know what I mean? As I as I think about it, because I can't really defend OG or not, because I guess time will tell. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
plenty.
yeah,
It's plenty of guys who thought they could handle New York and couldn't, and then there was plenty of guys who just couldn't. Yeah,
and
appreciate the
and
super chat and great point for sure.
and I will say, you know, in terms of a positive for RJ is that if anything, that's the one thing about RJ that I would always commend him for is that his confidence, maybe to the point of delusion, never really wavered. You couldn't tell him he wasn't him, even when he wasn't him. And he had a bad couple of games. I mean, if anybody got that John Starks energy, it's RJ Barrett. Like he's him no matter what. That's right. Nice. He was not scared. He's gonna put up his shots. He's gonna brick them. He's gonna miss layups, and he's gonna walk around like he's the guy. You know.
And that's that. I mean, that was part of the. I should have elaborated, but even with when I said the aggression, that was part of it. You know what I mean? Like it was like he just wasn't scared. Um, I don't think OG's gonna be scared, but again, you never know until you get to New York, till you play for till you put that uniform on. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's on social media or not, but if he wasn't in Toronto, do not start now. You know, you know what I mean? Like it's different over here. Um, yeah, yeah. Who's that? DKEJ21 says Quickly was a sweetener. Um, they gave him a whole bag of sugar. Like, I, I
Nah.
mean,
Truth be told, for me, I feel like that with the type of front court players that they already have, Barnes, Trent, I kind of feel like, all right, well, he's from Canada, we'll take him. But truth be told, yo, this Quickley guy looks like he has an amazing future, and we don't have a point guard. So
mhm.
we need him really more than we need RJ Barrett, to be honest. Like, that deal's not happening without Quickley. It's not. You could
And
have,
that's
I mean, you could, if you would have did Grimes, you would have had to like throw in like 2 first-round picks for them to do that. You know what I
fair
mean?
enough.
So just make note. No first round picks. I can't repeat that enough. You got a guy that has had a better career, in my opinion, than RJ. He's
And
he,
that's
and
I
his
mean
contract.
that's a great like you talking me way back off the edge, off the ledge, I should say, because I mean if we would have talked about this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever the case, there's no way we said we could do a package and we'd not have to give up one, let alone I mean, two first round picks for OG. I
I
mean that was the talk. So I
that,
mean
that was
that is a great point.
when I thought about the deal though, I saw how bad that they needed a first round pick. How bad that they needed a point guard, excuse me. And I always said, well, the way Quickly played, if he continues to play that way, um, I mean, that's Quickly essentially is a first round pick. RJ is more or less OG, and we gave them a first round pick. So it's like we gave them a first and a second. That was how I was like forecasting the deal potentially getting done.
Shout out to Parrish again with the super chat. He says the sleeper is Stewart and Flynn who can shoot the three. I mean that is one fact about Flynn, he can shoot the three. I think he's a scrappy defender. I don't know if he has a defensive level of IQ. Um and Stewart, I mean we need help at that center position right now. You know what I mean? With Mitch out and Taj, you know what I mean? Like he can't play more than I don't think he should be playing more than 10 minutes, let alone 15 or 20 minutes
Exactly.
on a nightly basis. So overall those were like our sweeteners if you will. Um yeah, and I do think I think they'll be helpful for sure.
No, Precious is definitely going
And a
to
New Yorker.
going. I mean, yo, listen, you got now we got Precious from New York, and we got Taj from New York out of Brooklyn. So, that's good. You got Brunson, who spent a lot of his years here with his pops when he was young. So, Dante's a Jersey guy. He's got he's almost New York roots. But listen, your boy Flynn, 175 games played, and he's only got a career 33.8% 3-point field goal percentage. He's shooting 35% this year in an average of 15 minutes a game. So maybe he does compete with Deuce for some of that time. But, I don't think from the little that I've seen of him, I don't think he comes in and takes the backup shooting guard, point guard minutes right away.
Yeah,
I
not off
think
the bat.
I think they'll give Deuce and Dante a chance to man those minutes, and you put Grimes in as your first guard off the bench. Maybe he comes in for Dante. Then maybe kind of how they did Quickley. You bring Grimes in first for Dante, then you take Brunson out and you put Dante back in. You got Dante and Grimes in the backcourt together. And like I said, whereas RJ almost never brought the ball up, I think OG can bring the ball up a lot more and initiate the offense more than RJ's done.
Um RJ usually played in that second unit with that second unit. Do you think there is a change? Well, obviously there will be a change. What do you think the change is now that he's not here to play with that second unit? Do you think it becomes a 10-man rotation? Um Stays 9? If so, is it Brunson or Randle playing with the second unit more? How do you think that changes? Or is it OG filling in the RJ role?
Well, I think Tibbs is going to do what he does, like um, at the beginning of a season. He's going to do the same thing again. He might not give it 20 games. He might give it 8. He might give it 10. But I think he'll see what's happening and then make a change as needed. My first prediction will be Hart will come in for OG at small forward. OG will come out, and then OG will come in as the backup power forward for Randle. Unless Precious gets used at power forward, and then they give Randle, Taj and Sims some split at center. But I think this is going to depend on how well Precious plays.
You know what? Don't discount Randall at center. I mean, we seen it for granted it was a loss. I don't even want to talk about the game last night, but we seen it extensively last night. Randall at the 5. And I think it looked good. You know what I mean? And I think we seen it the previous game too, just not in as long of a stretch. So Tibbs may be coming around to that as well. Randall at the 5.
I don't think he's
A
against it.
little bit more.
I don't think he's against it. I think he's all about the matchups. And if you're playing against Kevin Looney, yeah, you can put Randall in at center, and you can run a small ball lineup. Yeah, you put Randall, OG, Hart, Dante, Brunson. Not a bad lineup, not at all. But every team's not going to have. You got the Towns and you've got the Jokers, you got the Embiids. You know, You got the Vucevic's. You got some centers that are like too much for Randle to be able to defend.
Keith Turner, I want to know, what do you think the next trade is? And Shutter, we gonna get into that in just a second. Um, like you said, we still got all the draft picks. We still got Fournier. I mean, we'll get into it right now. What do you think the next move potentially? You know what I mean? Move is, and do you think it's? I mean, obviously, if Fournier's involved, it will be this year. So before the trade deadline, what do you think the next move is? What do you think is still missing from this team after this trade?
I believe Precious is better at power forward, and you'd like to get a backup center. So the Drummonds, the Kelly Oleniks, you know what I mean? Like these guys that are still out there, I think would be an upgrade. And would love to see something like. I mean, it's funny how we talked about Drummond earlier this week, and then he posts a 2020 game, filling in as a starter.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, I could agree with that. Has Precious played both the 4 and 5, or do you just think? Because I only remember him playing the 5. Do you just think he's better suited at the 4?
I
Like I don't,
mean,
because they.
I think, I just think that he was playing up because of his capability as a defender, but I think he's listed as a power forward that was playing center, kind of like Sims. Sims is really a power forward. Sims is not a center. You know what I mean? Sims is not a center. What are we really talking about? I don't know, IQ. I don't know about that, Keith Turner. From what I've been looking at here, it looks like IQ was shocked about the trade and was caught off guard.
I know there was rumblings last week about his minutes. I don't know if it came from like his agent or, pardon me, or who it came from, but I know there was a report he was unhappy with his minutes. That was after the game that he took that Tibbs took him out and put RJ back in with 3 minutes. No, that was last game. I mean that was two. Yeah, it was after that game, 2 games ago. But I don't think he would. I don't think he asked out. I seen a comment. I'm trying to find
Yeah,
it.
I don't think he asked out. He seemed like he was letting his play do the talking. And now, if he ever said anything to the coaches or whatever about his time, I don't doubt that might have happened. Maybe even in the press conference. Okay, but I don't think he asked out and asked to be traded.
Keep trying to say, I wish RJ well, but I won't miss him. Oh man.
Word is bond.
Um. So we lost RJ. We lost Quickly.
Yo, and if
That was it, right?
Anunoby, yeah,
Now, what was you gonna say though? If Ananobi what?
yo, like I now put yourself in the hat of the other GMs in the league. Do you not think other teams rather, were looking to do a deal to get OG Anunoby?
You saying moving forward?
Cavaliers? No, I'm talking about like right this season. Cavaliers, Miami Heat, like there's other teams in the conference that could use OG Anunoby that have assets, players, and picks that they could have made a deal too. Boston, Milwaukee, okay, yeah, those two probably not not on the table. But the other teams that you're competing against the 76ers, maybe, you know, but teams more in the middle of the pack. The
Hmm.
Orlandos, Indianas, the Miami, the Cavs. I looked at all those teams as
As
potential
interested.
teams
Yeah.
that would have great reason to be interested and would be improved teams, um, you know, with acquiring him. Yeah, I think it does help Hart too. Agree, CZ. Like I said,
Oh, yeah.
I think Anunoby will get some minutes at guarding
And
against those power forwards that Hart
that's
has been defending.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. You touched on it earlier. If OG and Hart are playing together and OG's at that fourth spot, to me that puts Hart back into his natural or more natural position. You know what I mean? And now, yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? Or even like a situation we playing Boston, right? Now we got a guy to guard Tatum and Brown. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So and we're gonna need those type of situations for sure. Um DKEJ21, he says, I wonder what an OJ discount is. I mean, I touched on it earlier. I think he opts into next year and then signs the extension, which you know what I mean, the same way Hart did. So I think that will be, I don't know if it'll be a discount, but we get him one more year at a cheaper number and extend them. I think that's what happens. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think that he's going to be somewhere in the 25 range. I think that's reasonable, which is more or less where you were at with RJ anyway. So to me, it's not like you're spending any more money.
Yeah, yeah. I don't, because what RJ was getting 26 next year.
Let me see. I got a tab with contracts open. Let's see. RJ Barrett is at 23.8 this year. Next year he's at 25.8.
So
Yeah.
pretty much.
And that's what I'm saying. Like OG at 25, 26 million next year, 27 million. That seems reasonable. And that's the same money you were paying RJ. So
EK EK
let
EJ he said he wanted 40 million. Pardon me. DKEJ 21.
who wanted what?
I'm assuming he's talking about OG. I,
He ain't talking about OG.
I mean, who else would he? I know he ain't talking about IQ. So I
I
mean,
need receipts on that. DK, we're gonna need receipts. I'm gonna need receipts. I'm gonna need receipts for that. That might be from one of the London British tabloids where OG's from.
he says check Bleacher Report. Um,
No, we will do that, sir.
yeah, I mean, I'm a frequent. I guess I would have to look on the Toronto page before. Yeah, I don't know about 40 40 million. What do you think? I mean, I'm assuming none of these guys are going to be able to play tonight. So, what do you think the lineup looks like? I mean, I think it's going to be
It's
heavy
gonna be
Randle tonight, heavy Brunson off the back to back.
yeah, it's gonna be tough tonight, but it's okay. I'm kind of conceding this game, but maybe in a game like this, you know, you got your key cogs, Brunson, Randle, Dante, iHeart. You got these guys in there, so let's see if they can step up and hold it down.
And I'll say this to DKEJ, that might have just been a ploy, a ploy to either
Get out of
get
there.
get traded or say, hey, y'all gonna have to
I'm not
really
returning.
pay me to stay. You know what I mean? That might have been the price to stay as opposed to let me go where I want. Hit him up, salute, appreciate you. Joining. He's a ever Fourier just chilling. Not for long. I think he got He put Survivor. Uh, not for long. Um,
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry, my
oh man,
Wi-Fi is a little slow. My Wi-Fi is a little
nah,
funky, man.
we good. Anything else you wanna kind of touch up on, or any final thoughts? I mean, I think I just wanted to get an initial reaction. I never I'm always at work when something breaking news happens. So the fact that I was able to just jump on within a couple of hours, you know what I mean? It's the first time that's ever happened for me. So I said, let me jump on it. And plus, I knew, like I said, I knew you was a lot more excited about it than I was. But you know what I mean? Caveat, you did say it sucks to have to give up IQ, and you know what I mean, how much he's grown on you um over the years. I mean, I just felt like he had the star potential. He still does. I think with the opportunity he should get in Toronto, I guess he'll be able to either prove me right or prove me wrong. You know what I mean? Because he'll get the opportunity to be the guy there, or one of the guys. You know what I mean?
All I'm
So
gonna say is this: New York Knicks fans, we got a player that last year averaged 17 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, led the NBA in steals with 1.9 per game, and was first all defensive team. If we had a player performing like that currently on this team with Brunson and Randle, we would be ecstatic. We would be ecstatic if we had that. So be happy. Don't worry. I'm gonna give the Knicks a B plus on the trade because losing IQ for nothing would not have been acceptable. And being able to acquire an all NBA defender that can score 17 points a game, who's making less money than RJ currently. Again, I want to repeat, being able to acquire an all NBA defender making less money than RJ and under contract with a player option still for next season. I don't know. Like, I can't really see how you could say management failed on the deal, regardless if you did not want to see Quickley be dealt. I
yeah,
give a
now I think that's a fair grade. That's probably what I would give as well. Um, and that's it's not an A. It's not an A because of Quickly. So I agree.
and
Um,
and
it
how
answers a lot of questions for us. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it gives us more size, which we've been lacking. Like we finally could get a couple of guys into their natural position, because I felt like number one, we were small, relatively small at every position. You know what I mean? Undersized point guard, um, undersized two guard, undersized. You know what I mean? Like all across the board. Um, Especially even at center with Mitch going down. You know what I mean? Like now we didn't have a 7-footer, so it kind of puts the guards back into their natural spots, and
yeah,
it lessens everybody having to guard up all the time. You know what
and
I mean? So
the,
that
the
may help us defensively to points where we haven't even seen. You know what I mean?
I I gotta say the front line now with OG, Randle, and Hart is a lot more NBA caliber. And the fact that you can use OG as a backup power forward is definitely better than RJ and Hart doing it.
Hmm.
Putting Hart as the backup three, OG as a potential backup four. I mean, you got Precious who could also play the backup four.
Or
Um, you know, listen, everything remains to be seen, but I think all things considered, it's a deal that you couldn't turn down. No way you can turn down this deal. That's what I'm saying. Like, give me a deal I can't refuse. That's what I always say. Like, there's nothing about this deal that says, nah, you can't do that deal to me.
Let me Kavar, he said shout out to Fulio. Yeah, shout out to Fulio. He's definitely happy. I mean, he didn't respond, but I texted him to try to get him to get on because I knew he was gonna be excited about this. Still Knicks fans. He says big news today. Shout, what's good, family? Shout salute to us. I know you was on. I know you be on Saturdays. I didn't get your I didn't get to watch, so I don't know how you feel about it. But he says big news. I'm assuming he's good and happy with it. Kavan also said OG was
big news.
first
Big
defensive
news.
last
Big
year.
news doesn't mean you're happy.
I
I
mean,
don't know if big news means you're happy.
yeah, but I think he would have been more specific if he wasn't. So I think he okay with it.
Probably right.
He
Listen,
says OG was
I've been
first
trying to
team
get
defense last year.
I've been trying to get rid of RJ for 2 years.
Yeah, and
I've been trying to get rid of
been,
RJ for 2 years. So
they've been realistic
yes.
on their RJ takes. No, I think I think he checked and said second team. Um, I, I don't know, but either way, they all defensive is all defensive. I don't care if it's first, second, or third. That means top 15 in the league and top what 5 at least at your position. Parrish, appreciate super chat. He says Jeremy Grant will make it game set match for us. Would that be OG at the 2, Grant at the 3, Randle at the 4, or would that be Grant off the in the second unit?
I would say probably
I mean,
Grant off the bench. I would say probably Grant off the bench, and that provides you the flexibility depending on who you matched up with. You could shift OG to the 2 and bring in Grant at the 3. You know,
the defensive versatility with bringing in a guy like Grant right now. I mean, I would have liked Grant before the OG. I didn't think OG was a possibility given the lawsuit and everything else. And again, I didn't even. I'm glad you kept preferencing us not giving up any of our picks. You know what I mean? First round picks. You know what I mean? Because again, when I think about that, there's no way I would have fathomed that this trade happening without us losing one of our, at the very least, protected first, let alone or you know what I mean, the other team's first, let alone our own. So yeah. But yeah, Grant would give us a lot more switchability and versatility defensively, let alone you know what I mean, what he brings offensively. Appreciate the
I mean, listen, there's definitely an argument to put him in there as small forward though and put OG at the shooting guard. It's definitely an argument to do that too. So, you know, that deal's gonna be a lot harder to get done, you know, because he's at, you know, 28 million and Fournier's at is only at 19 million.
We have we Fournier in the trade and the OB trade exception would do it right there. Because that's within I did the math already. You know what I mean? So now it's really about what's the minimum amount of picks that we would have to do, you know what I mean, include to pull that off. But yeah, I think that changes things crazy.
Okay,
Because
now OB trade exception is at 6.8 million with Fournier's 18.8 million.
24.
That brings you to 25.6.
And that's close enough.
And that's even if it's not close enough, if you got to throw in one of the bottom roster guys like Daquan Jeffries or Sims, whatever. You know what I mean? You throw one of them guys in.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
I think another deal is. I think another deal. It may not be immediately, but I think another deal is definitely around the corner. I imagine the team likely wants to see who they are and what they have with these new players. And you know, you got what until what middle February, right, for the trade deadline.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you know, you got a good 6 weeks to make something happen.
I ain't gonna lie. If we could add Grant and it not really cost too many picks, you know what I mean? Or because I don't think he should. I mean, because who are we bidding against? That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like the only
Yeah,
teams that I think have more draft capital than us, I don't think they're
probably
in the same
in
type
play.
of other than OKC. I don't think anybody is in a closer position to you know what I mean to fight in the playoffs or whatever the case where they need this guy to kind of put them
Right,
over the edge
you
or
got
move the needle.
you got OKC, Spurs, and Jazz. These are the teams that have like the most trade
But that's what I mean.
assets.
Okay, OKC is the only team that could look at Grant and say, all right, he could he could move the needle for us. You know what I mean,
No,
Utah,
I just wanted to point out the other teams just so kind of it was out there.
yeah. So they're the only team, and I don't know if they would be interested. You know what I mean. Like maybe there's possibility they've been rumored to be interested in marketing. So you know what I mean. Like I don't know how they compare marketing to Grant and fit and need and whatever. But yeah, I would think they would be the only threat. Like any other contending team or playoff team probably doesn't have the assets to bid against
You
us.
you asked me was there anything else I wanted to add, and there is, and I should have said this a long time ago. Um, there's another factor that aids this trade that I have to point out. We're gonna take our time with this. Okay.
Let me grab my bottle too.
one thing that has been repeatedly said is that Randle and RJ are not a good fit. How many people have said RJ and Randle are not a good combination on the court? Oh, you gangster. I'm a gentleman. This is a gangster and a gentleman Knicks podcast going down right now.
Shout out to Styles P.
Absolutely. It's the ghost, you heard? Yeah, so I think that not only are we getting an all NBA defensive player that shoots better from the field than from three, but we're also getting a player that will free things up and I think make Randle more effective. Imagine that.
Relieve some of that defensive burden from Randall as well. Where, you know what I mean? That
This defense is
something
horrible.
RJ wasn't necessarily able to do. You know what I mean? Like
Or Brunson. I mean, truthfully, OG is kind of like he's like low-key Scottie Pippen like. You can put him on a small point guard. You can put him on a big point guard. You can put him on a shooting guard. He can stay on a small forward. If he has to get some minutes against a power forward, yeah, he could probably do that too if it's not Carmelo-ish kind of player. So I think it's gonna just help the whole cohesiveness of the team. Listen, you knew I was getting so batty last night. Ooh, I'm watching the game and I'm like, yo, RJ, pass the ball. Pull up, shoot a shot. Yo, what are you doing on a fast break? Even in the game before that against the Bucks, maybe 2 games before that against the Bucks. Yo, you want to break? We got the lead. It's in the last minute of the game, and you're gonna make a charge. You can't just stop and shoot or pass to the guy in the corner. Come on, come on, man. Like he's not good enough to not be that smart.
Let me ask you this, because you know that like some of the and I'm not referring to you per se, but some of the Knicks animosity has shifted towards RJ this year, more than ever before. Now that RJ is gone, because there's always somebody that has to. Do you think it reverts back to Randle,
No, because
or
he's playing too well.
so? Who do you think becomes that guy in the Knicks
The
chats?
whipping, who's the whipping boy?
The
The
whipping boy.
whipping, the whipping boy.
Who's next in
Uh,
line?
it would be Mitch if he was playing, but he ain't playing. But it could still be him for being injured. For the record, it's never been Randle for me. It's always been RJ. I've been whipping on RJ since since year one. I was off the throttle a little year two. He put some numbers up. But year 3 and 4, and aside from a couple of hot weeks, he's been 3 years of overinflated hot trash. So I don't think anyone is near a point where they can be the whipping boy of the team. Because let's look at the lineup. Brunson's playing too well. Randle's playing too well. I mean, if Hart took a dip, maybe it could be him, but he's a backup now starting. So you kind of got tempered expectations. So it can't really be him.
DiVincenzo shooting lights out, and
Dante
recently got promoted.
Dante is playing well enough that he's got some good credit that he's got a while before it's him. So I can't really whip on bench players. Grimes is on the bench. Maybe you want to whip on him, but he's on the bench. He's only going to be playing 12, 15 minutes a game. Like, how much you going to whip on a guy playing that little bit of minutes? So, if Deuce comes in and he's blowing it and he blows the opportunity, you know what I mean? Shooting too much, because sometimes he gets a little shot happy. So, kind of like year one Quickley, but he's been that for a couple of years now. So, if he comes in flopping, it could be him. Precious is new, depending on what he does when he gets out there. He got potential to be the guy.
So
But
basically, you saying it might be a window of no hate on any Knicks player for a little while. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It might have a grace period.
The player who I've been hearing the rumblings is Josh Hart.
Mm,
I kind of been hearing some Josh
mm,
Hart hate this
that's
year.
true. That's true.
So if I had to say who's most likely to get it, he will be my prediction. But he's a guy that can, have a game today where he's, 0 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and then the next game, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 4 3-pointers, mad loose balls, and and do too well. So I don't think
Let
he can
me
stay in the doghouse long.
let me shout out John from Still Knicks fan. I had Ron and John in the building today. All I needed was Jose. It would have been a trifecta. Shout out to the Still Knicks fans for sure. And then tough
Are they
love.
are they still Knicks fans after the deal? That's the $1 million question.
He said, "What's good, fellas? New look Knicks for the new year." The funny thing about that is I wasn't like this is an emergency pod, right? I wasn't planning on podding today. Um and I already was thinking ahead, and I'm like, my next show is gonna be New Year, same Knicks, right? Depending on the outcome of tonight's game. But I guess it's gonna be New Year, new Knicks. So yeah, that's facts. Let me bring it back up real quick. You said, "What's good, fellas? New Knicks for the New Year." So I think that's hilarious. Um, Tough
I'll
love.
take that as I'm gonna take that as an early birthday present. My birthday is this week, Thursday.
Oh
So
shoot.
I'm gonna take that as an early birthday present. So can OG hit a pull-up jumper? I know one person for sure who can.
Um, I guess the RJ slander is okay now. It's not bashing our own player anymore. Oh, and then he said he sees a report. Oh, he sees a Raptor pod saying OG was bad on a break, especially when he was handling the ball off the rebound. Well, I'll say this: we got Josh Hart for that because I know he could definitely handle that. Um,
And on the starting lineup, you've got Brunson, Dante, and Randle who can all bring it up. So if OJ for some reason doesn't feel comfortable on a break, cool. But I know one thing: I've seen him bringing it up plenty of times in the half court offense, setting up the offense. So um, I think you might be pleasantly surprised there, my brother.
and
Hey, there we go.
the the
Listen, it
RJ,
ain't hate. It ain't hate. It's tough love. How
I,
apropos that you have
I,
that name.
I see what you did there.
How apropos that you have that name. Because it is not hate. Listen, you in year 5. You're missing layups and you don't have a pull-up jumper and you have poor defense. Come on. Yo, we were talking about this. I'm not sure if you were on this I believe I was on with Steph. And we were talking about the prime years of NBA players. And I think that this whole thought that like players prime years are like 28, 29, 30. I don't know about that, bro. I think you got exceptions to the rules when you talk about like super elite tier 1 players like a Kobe or LeBron. You know, like you're talking about all-time great players. Yeah, these guys might still be at like peak performance at those years. But if you went to college for 1 year and you went into the league like a guy like RJ and you're at year 5, I mean, you should damn near be at like I mean, when are you gonna get to all NBA level? Year 9? Come on, like what are we really talking? What are we really talking about here?
Or NBA or anything, I guess, right?
You're gonna be we're gonna wait for year 8 for you to be at all-star level. I'm waiting what? So by those numbers, you're at your prime at 27 years old. So I'm waiting for you for 8 years to develop you for you to hit your all-star level. Nah,
But I mean, I don't think that's fair though. That's not fair. Like
I don't think it's fair that you're telling me that players don't hit their prime until 27, 28 years old, and that
no,
you
but
expect
I think
that
I
you,
think
and that you
I
would
think
expect me to wait 8 years to develop you for you to be an all-star player.
no, what but I think on average that is true. 26, 27, 28. That's when most players hit their prime. It's only the elite that are in that prime for from a younger age and from a longer time period. You know what I mean? But like I don't even want to say average, but yeah, the average NBA player doesn't really hit their prime until 26, 27 years old. I think back in the day, like 30 years ago, I think the prime might have been even later than that.
Right, because in back in the day, you likely played 3 or 4 years of college. So you came out at 21, 22 years old. So if you were 26 at your prime, all right, you're in your fourth year. Hence my point. Year 4, year 5, you're at all-star level. And that's my argument. I'm not waiting for your 7th year for you to be an all-star.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good argument because you that could mean you drafted the wrong guy, but
And and it, and it,
that's a whole nother story.
and it could mean that in year 4, year 5, you know what? I may have to say, maybe you're not him. And I commend this front office for making the tough decision. I'm going to say something right here, my brother Tony. When you draft this guy, RJ Barrett, coming from Duke, uh, a kid that was in New York, his father played for the Johnnies, my favorite team as a kid for college. Walter Berry, Chris Mullin, Mark Jackson, Boo Harvey. You understand? You can't tell me nothing about St. John's. So I know RJ Senior. You understand? So RJ's got the New York roots. I love it. I feel it. I appreciate it. So you draft this guy. He's a quality character player. He's a quality character person. You understand? So you drafted him number 3. So what you're saying basically is we fumbled on that number 3 pick.
I wouldn't go there though.
Well, okay.
Because like if you do a redraft, who are you picking? Garland?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And he's been an
I
all-star
mean,
already.
he's the only guy that you could say, yeah. But even with that, I'm a firm believer in. All right, I'm not even. I don't want to get into this whole discussion. RJ ain't here no more. You know what I mean? I ain't defended him.
But but
It
but
is what it
but,
is.
but
But
the point the
he
point
had
I'm
a bigger
making though,
opportunity. Is all I'm gonna say.
he
Garland
had a
did. In
RJ had a huge opportunity also. He
no,
was a starter from year 1.
that's a fact. But
He had the opportunity that Zion had to be the man of the franchise. The opportunity that Ja Moran had to be the man of the franchise.
I
Like,
don't think he had that opportunity.
why not?
I all right. Here's what I'll say. That wasn't given to him. He had the opportunity to
He
take
didn't
it.
take it.
He had the opportunity to take it.
He didn't take it.
I will agree with that 100%.
He
He
didn't
didn't
take
take it.
it.
That's a
Yo,
fact.
the car was sitting there with nobody in it. He had Randle. Randle basically was in the passenger seat, and the driver's seat was there for him to take it. He did not take it. And what did Randle do? He said, "Oh, young boy, you not ready for that? I'm going to get out and I'm going to get in the driver's seat." And Randle became the driver.
It was season. He had season though. He had season. I'm talking about Randall now. Like he's more prepared to take the driver's seat. You know what I mean? Like we'll see what happens. And again, I'm not even defending RJ right now because I'm okay with RJ going.
When RJ was drafted at that point in time, did you expect Randle to be an all NBA player twice before RJ would get it once?
Wait, say that again.
When RJ was drafted and Randle had just came to the team, could
Okay.
you have imagined that Randle would be an All NBA player twice before RJ would be once?
If you change it to, I probably wouldn't imagine either one being all NBA, but if you put it at All Star, I probably would have thought. I would agree with you. I would say I wouldn't have thought Randall been an All Star twice before RJ once. So I agree with you. I
Yo,
agree with
and
that.
and and what else I want to add? Like, yo, I see the body language on the court, and I see the players looking frustrated with RJ out there. I see it. I see it. So, you know, when you talk about the locker room being broken, my brother, I think that's what happened here.
And
Is
that's what
that
I was gonna ask. You talking about Hector? Was it broken before the trade or after the trade? That was my question to you.
oh,
But go ahead.
I I think that it's the type of thing where RJ was the quote unquote golden child. He was supposed to ascend to be the guy. Randall took the keys. Brunson came in and said, "Oh, hold on, Randall, let me drive." And now you got a great driver, and you got a better co-pilot with Brunson and Randall. And if you need a wild card, OG is just a better wild card backseat driver if you need it than RJ is. It's a better fit. It's a better fit.
I agree. I agree. It's a better fit. Again, my only concern was IQ. I think you took me off the ledge. You know what I mean? Considering we didn't have to give up the first round picks, considering there's no, like, that was still something that was in the air right now, and coming into the off season, the contract, and how we handle that situation. Now that's one thing that we don't have to worry about, even though OG is a free agent as well, or potentially. Like I said, though, I think he opts in. We extend him. I'm gonna get out of here and try to jump on with the Queen. I haven't made her show in a while. Um, so I'm gonna ask everybody, just hit the like button, man. Appreciate you guys jumping in with me. Shuttle, appreciate you jumping on with me, man. Um, it's gonna be a long, like you said, this is gonna be a talk for like a couple days. You know what I mean? Hopefully we somehow pull this victory out tonight for sure,
Now,
because I know
this
we're
is
gonna be undermanned.
this is an amazing close to the year. This is how you go into 2024. New year, new Knicks.
New year, new Knicks. I guess that's the new title for the next show. New year, new Knicks.
T-shirt coming soon. New year, new Knicks T-shirt coming soon. You heard?
Oh man. Like I said, Shuttle, man, appreciate you, man. You gonna try to jump on with the Queen, or
Nah.
if you
Oh, I'll probably have it playing and I'll be listening.
all right,
But yeah, I got some things to do around here. Get prepared. You know, the new year, a little cleanup, a little organization, and big New Year's Eve party tomorrow in Queens. You know, we shaking it up. You know how we do it.
no doubt. You said Thursday, your birthday,
Yeah.
Thursday. I'm sure I'll speak to you before then, but just in case, man, happy birthday. You you doing the bash?
It's going down Saturday, January 13th. Amadeus, Queens.
Saturday the 13th.
Yeah,
Text
is
me
that
the
Saturday the 13th.
text me the info. I
And it's a
think.
day party. It's a day party. You can come down in the morning and fly back that evening.
Nah, I think my aunt is having a party that same day, and hers is an evening party. So, um, yeah, text me that info, because I might be able to pull up there. You know what I mean? Show some love, and then go to my aunt's party.
Nah, tell your aunt start playing. Pregame with me.
Hey, she might. I mean, I'm gonna have to drive her around, but we'll see. If she, you know what I mean? If she want to pull up,
There we
and
go.
then we'll make an appearance at her. Um, John said, "Go ahead, and make them t-shirts."
No doubt. New Year, new Knicks. T-shirts coming soon. Let's go.
No doubt. Shout out to the chat, man. Appreciate y'all. Go check out Dope Soul Sports Talk. I'm gonna try to jump in over there
Big
if I get the
facts.
link. And hit that like on your way out. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, we out. Yo, Black is time. We out.